Welcome back, everyone. It's the Bourbon Judge. We are back at it and ready to have some fun. But before we dive into today's episode, couple things, right? Let's call it housekeeping. So number one, numero uno. I just want to give a huge shout out to everyone who subscribed to the channel. I just crossed over the 13,000 marks from a subscriber standpoint. So thank you. Really do appreciate it. So thank you very much to all my subscribers, as well as all my patrons also for all the ongoing support and love as well. So thank you for helping me to get to 13,000 subscribers. Much love and respect. So we are, let's call this almost like the early 4th of July edition, right? So 4th of July is right around the corner. Hopefully, if you're like me, you're gonna be barbecuing, sitting out there. Even while I am barbecuing, I will be enjoying some whiskey as well. But barbecuing, just having fun, hanging out with family and friends. And what better way to hang out with family and friends on 4th of July, or in this case, a pre-4th of July. But join me tomorrow night. So Monday, July 3rd, I'm doing a live stream, bringing on some of my patrons. We're just gonna honestly just kind of kick back and just talk everything whiskey, like, you know, what people are hunting for, what they're not hunting for, you know, certain bottles that they've gotten that really surprised them. Just, you know, kind of a chill, casual evening, hanging out with some of my patrons, and we welcome everyone else to join in as well. All right, cool. All right, so I love doing these episodes because not only does it give me almost like, honestly, like an inspiration of like what I'm looking for, hopefully it can help each of you out there as well. So these are 5 whiskeys that I think are worth hunting for this summer. Some of them were just literally released, like I'm talking like within the last like week or two, and they're probably starting to hit shelves, you know, in the next couple weeks, and others will be released like in July, August, and so forth. Cool? All right. So you might be wondering, Judge, what makes your list, right? Like, why are you looking at these? What's the reason why? So I'm going to go through, you know, the brand. If I know the price point, I'll tell you that, at least like the MSRP. But I'm also going to tell you why I'm hunting for it as well. Is that fair? All right. So the first one that I think is worth hunting for, and I have the majority of these, like at least like older versions or another version of it, just so I can kind of show you what the bottle looks like. But the first one comes from one of my, I'm telling you, they're one of my favorite distilleries. You know, a lot of my patrons I know in that area are big fans of that distillery as well. My buddy Rick Cluse and my buddy Nick Massey, and obviously Blake. I call Blake Mr. Starlight, but I'm a big fan of Starlight. So this is Starlight Double Oaked French Oak Toasted Rye, aged 5 years. Yes, I say that correct. This is Starlight. This is their double oaked, but not their double oaked bourbon. This is a double oak, so you have the original barrel, then they put it in a French oak, and then they also used a toasted rye, aged 5 years. So I got this bottle. This is actually my second bottle of it. That's how much I really enjoyed it when I was at the distillery going back about 6 months ago. This is their double oak bourbon. So the first round, obviously the regular oak, and then the second oak was the French oak. That's this bottle here. But they took it to another level. Not only are they keeping it the double oak with the French, but they're also doing a toasted rye, aged 5 years. I don't know the exact MSRP, but I'm telling you, this bottle, this is one of the best double oak products that I had in a long time. Hence the reason why I bought 2 bottles of it. I tasted it at the distillery, and I was blown away. And I mean blown away. So I need to open up this one because I love the other one so much. Ah, man. It's just a little harder to find, but hopefully this this toasted rye double oak will be a little bit easier to find. But that one just came out in late June, and it should be hitting the shelves. Probably you'll see it in early July, around like in the next couple weeks. Cool. That's the first one hitting the market. All right, number 2. Oh man, so not everyone, but a lot of people, including myself, are big fans of this batch proof whiskey. A little bit more on the pricier side, typically a little bit over $100, $115, $120 kind of ish, right? Depending on where you live exactly. And then obviously throw in some tax, you're getting up there a little bit like $130, $140. But it's coming from a reputable distillery, phenomenal quality, and I've had, I don't even know, 3-4 different batches of it, I think, and they've all been phenomenal. So none other than our good friends over at Woodford Reserve, the Woodford Reserve Masters Collection Batch Proof. So the newest one, I believe, is coming in at 124.7 proof. Again, yes, definitely a little bit on the pricier side. But when you think of just a Brown-Forman product, especially a cast strength Brown-Forman product coming from, Woodford Reserve is just like an icon, honestly, in the whiskey world, the bourbon whiskey world. It really is an icon. So, what more can you say? Seriously, we're talking about Woodford Reserve batch proof. They've always been phenomenal. I've never had a bad batch of it. Personally, I can't imagine the newest one that was just released as well in June, probably hitting shelves now in July. I can't imagine that is bad, honestly. Even for $100-something, my guess is pretty damn good whiskey. All right. On that note, real quick, before we get to number 3, 4, and 5, no asterisks, by the way, today. But before we get to 3, 4, 5, couple favors. Number 1, hit the like button. Number 2, drop me a comment. Hey, let me know, what are you doing for 4th of July? Let me know what whiskey you're sipping for 4th of July. Or you could also even let me know what whiskey you're hunting for this summer. Last but not least, please make sure you also hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so you get notification each time I release new content. Cool? All right. Cheers, everybody. Whew. If you're wondering what am I sipping right now, I'm sipping that batch proof, and it is damn delicious. All right, coming in the number 3 spot. So this is actually the only bottle I don't have an older version of, or even one of the products in my house, because I just finished a bottle not too long ago. But the number 3 spot, coming from Heaven's Door. So this is Heaven's Door, the Decade Series, the Straight Rye. Why am I interested in this? So when you think of Heaven's Door bourbon or rye, in this case the Heaven's Door Decade Series, the Straight Rye, I'm interested because of a couple reasons. Number 1, this is going to be an age statement, so it's aged 10 years. Number 1, aged 10 years. It's 100 proof, and the MSRP is supposed to be about $100. So you're talking about 100 proof, aged 10 year rye that's at 100 proof. To me, that is a check. Sign me up all day for a 10-year rye whiskey that's at 100 proof, which is a sweet spot for any bourbon or rye. In this case, a rye is a sweet spot from a proof standpoint, and $100 is definitely expensive. But this day and age with inflation, I'll pay that all day as long as it's good whiskey. I will say I've had other Heaven's Door products in the past, and I've liked them, especially their barrel picks. I've had like 2 or 3 different bottles of different store picks, and they were always phenomenal. So I think even though I haven't had this new Decade Series, this rye, I do think it's worth honestly just kind of throwing all my chips in, as we would say in the Vegas terms, throwing all my chips in and just grabbing it, right? Without even trying it at a bar. I think it's worth it. Heaven's Door primarily, obviously, has been sourcing 99% of their whiskey for the most part. They put out, I think, some of their smaller batches, like their own contract distilling that they did themselves. But the majority of everything they put out thus far have been sourced whiskey from various different distilleries. And again, it's always been really good. Last thing to say about Heaven's Door is that they are actually opening up their own distillery. It's set to be fully opened in September of this year. So we're a few months away, September 2023, in Kentucky, by the way, as well. So I need to get out to Heaven's Door Distillery once they're open. All right, that's number 3 spot. Number 4, oh man, a brand that you guys, you hear me talk about this brand a lot. I'm a big fan of it. Now this, of course, like the rest of their whiskey, is definitely sourced because they were not around even 15 years ago. But coming out in, and by the way, I should say that Heaven's Door, that's coming out in July. But coming out in August, a brand that, again, I stand behind. They produce or they source great whiskey in general. And this is my second bottle of it because the first bottle I've already crushed. This is the Penelope American Light Whiskey, but the new one that's coming out in August is the 15-year American Light Whiskey. This is the older one from, I think, a couple years ago. This is the 13-year. So it'll look just like this, except for 15 up top versus 13. Fair? All right. So they're sourcing their American Light Whiskey. I would assume, obviously, they're now owned by MGP. Odds are more than likely they're getting that 15-year American Light Whiskey also from MGP. Again, this I thought was just delicious. Hence the reason why I bought 2 bottles of it. I can't imagine the new one that's coming out in August is not going to be equally as good, if not even better. All right. That is the number 4 spot. Wrapping it up. What am I wrapping it up and why? Here we go. Whew. Coming in the number 5 spot, coming out also in August, is the 2023 limited edition of this brand, of this whiskey, which comes out every year. None other than Yellowstone Bourbon. So this is the 2020, which is, this is actually my second bottle of it. I've been keeping this bad boy in the background because I really enjoyed the first one. This one was finished in the Armagnac. I'm not sure what the finishing is going to be on the 2023, but they are doing their 2023 limited edition bourbon that's coming out in August. Again, at a fair price. I think I got this for like $90. Really like Yellowstone whiskey or the Yellowstone brand in general. And I think their limited editions are always, they've been pretty much kind of constant hits for the most part as a whole. And I really enjoyed them. So that is the final 5th one that's coming out. Again, make sure you guys and ladies as well, check me out tomorrow night, Monday, July 3rd for a, let's call it a pre-4th of July whiskey celebration. Kind of hanging out with some patrons, and I'd love to hang out with some of you as well. Until the next time, my friends, as we say in this courtroom, peace, cheers, and most important, salute. Take care.